Hello and welcome. My name is Chad Miles. I have the privilege of serving as marketing strategist and storyteller at MassMutual Great Lakes. And today I'm excited to be joined by Gina Coleman. Gina is a financial services professional and also serves as Chief Sales Officer at MassMutual Great Lakes. Gina, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thanks, Chad, for having me. Happy to be here.
Gina, one of the unique things about my role as as the storyteller of this firm is that means I get a lot of opportunities to interact with our financial services professionals. And then that means that I get to learn more about their stories of how maybe they found this career, their stories of since they have found this career, what's happened since then. And that's been a really unique experience for me. And so I'm excited for us to invest a few minutes together to share more about your story, because I think your story is a really unique one in that coming into the financial services industry, this was your third career, right? And so share with us a little bit of that story of how you found the financial services industry and this career in particular.
So yes, it is my third career. I came out of college going right into sports, working for a basketball team. And even going into that career, I didn't know anything about basketball. But what I did know is that I like being a part of a great organization. I like working with people, and I had no fear of working with people and providing products and services to people. And so that's how I got into the career. Loved the sport of basketball because I learned it. And so it just was a nice entryway into a professional career where I can use some of what I felt was my natural skills. Then I went over to become an entrepreneur after I got married, and I had to relocate, and I discovered entrepreneurship. I ran my own salon, and when I moved to Michigan, I opened and ran my own spa and salon. Again, another totally different industry. I usually take some of the things that I go into based off being a consumer of that industry, right? So I consumed those services and realized it's a good business to be in, and got into that business. Stumbled into financial services because of the economic downturn that happened in '08. I didn't have to close my business. I transitioned my business, which freed up my time, and happened to meet, work with a financial institution on a charitable side. And the gentleman that I met with asked me, hey, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm actually about to go back and looking into a different career, getting back into corporate services. And he said, have you ever thought about working for a bank? I said, never. I didn't go to school for economics or banking or any of that. And he said, well, that doesn't matter. We're always looking for great people. We're also looking for people to who we think would be good in this business. So we can teach you the business, but we can't always teach people the other skills that come along with being successful in a business. So he's the one that first opened my eyes to it. And I did. I started doing some research into the business, started meeting with people in the industry, and said, oh yeah, I can do this. And the reason why I can do this is because I bank at a bank. I have financial services are part of my world. And so again, I take the consumer approach, like I'm a consumer of this business. So if you're a consumer of a business, you can work on the other side of serving that consumer. And that's the approach I took.
You mentioned briefly, I think one of the things that's common is that people will think, well, I don't have a background in finance. I didn't go to school for finance. I don't know anything about finance. And that I think things that can be intimidating about coming into a career in financial services is people will just say to themselves, well, if I don't have a finance background, I don't have the ability to find success in this career. Talk to us a little bit more about that perception that you might have had and now what your experience has been since you have come into financial services.
Yes, and Chad, that's a great question. It's not like there are people that come into this career from a different career. It's not like we're jumping into going to be a doctor, right? We know when you go to be a doctor, you need to go have intense training and skills, right? You have to have just a different set of skills, just like a scientist or, if I'm going to go fly a plane. But in this industry, I think this is one of the things I love about financial services, right? It's something you can learn because it's something people, deal with as a consumer on a daily basis. So yeah, you do have to take the time to learn products and services, to learn processes, to learn the compliance side of things. But it's not hard. It's probably one of the most easiest fields to transition into from a training perspective. And again, this industry serves people, right? And we serve people in a way that can be simple all the way to very complex. And so depending on someone's interest level, the entry level is an easy entry level. And depending on how far you want to take what services you provide, there's a lane for all of that, all along the way, as long as you're willing to do, take the time to learn the different skills, learn from the people around you how to be successful, and have a genuine desire to serve people in an area that can be truly life impacting. And so really, it's an easy entryway for a transition into this career.
Gina, it's no secret that the financial services industry tends to be a very male-dominated industry. And again, I think that's one of the things that can make it an intimidating career for women to come into. Talk to me a little bit about how your experience has been as a woman in this industry, and especially in your time at MassMutual Great Lakes. What appealed to you about MassMutual Great Lakes for you to enter this career?
So what appealed to me to enter the career as it relates to coming over to MassMutual Great Lakes is that, the CEO has a focus on bringing more women into this industry. And it's not surprising that more and more companies in general are targeting women, whether it's from a consumer standpoint or a career standpoint. And it's because as more women, look to seek to become industry leaders in various industries, to know that this firm had a focus on building a financial services team of women to serve women, not only to serve them in professional services, but to serve them from an advocacy and education standpoint, and in empowering women to have the knowledge that they need, not only from a client perspective, but being introduced into a career that really gives them no limits to success. That, as a woman that's also a mom, that gives me the flexibility to build a practice reflective of my own lifestyle and where I am at this point in my lifestyle. I'm 50 and I'm an empty nester for the most part. So my area of focus in how I can take this practice is unlimited. But it also works for a new mom, right? A new mom or a mom that has school-age kids that wants to enter a career and begin building something of her own. It's flexible for that too. And so because this CEO, Manny Amezcua, who runs this agency, that's what attracted me to MMGL initially, in that because there's a dedicated focus to that. And then to know that from a corporate level, it's also a big focus of our main company around serving women and serving the growth of women in this career, because we need and we hear that more women are looking for female financial advisors. And personally, for me, I will say, even before I entered this industry, my husband had a financial advisor, and when we would meet, he would only talk to him. And so because if people who know me know that I'm not shy, I sat in that meeting and I felt invisible. And so I decided to take my own action and say, you know what, I have a choice. I have a choice of who I decide to do financial services with. And then I broke away and found my own advisor. Ironically, I went to another guy, but I went to another guy because he saw me. I mean, the way he communicated with me saw me. But what taught me from that exercise is that there may be women out there that may not take that action step. Or maybe if they do take that action step, they want to go to another woman because she may feel more comfortable with the women. Well, what's not great about this industry, it's not a lot of go-to women out there. There's more. And I like the fact that this firm is dedicated to putting more women, introducing more women into this career, who, by the way, women are great entrepreneurs. We are great multitaskers. We care tremendously about other human beings. This is part of just an innate part of what we do. Therefore, this is just a great career to amplify all of these things that I think come natural to women. And so that's what attracted me to it. That's what continues for me to be an advocate for women, to look at this career, look at it differently. It's so empowering. And, you know, financially, you're unlimited to what you can do. And it just makes each day, exciting. And we're truly impacting people's lives.
Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that story. And I think so that gives us a little bit of insight into what brought you to MassMutual Great Lakes, into this firm in particular. And now, since you've been here, what are some of the things, you know, from just a firm culture standpoint that have stood out to you that you've really valued most from being at MassMutual Great Lakes?
So I'll answer that question two ways. The first way is the philosophy and the vision of Manny Amezcua, who's our firm's CEO, is something that drives me and excites me every day. And so from a culture standpoint, from the other people on the leadership team, from the other people who are serving clients, from the way we interact. And although we have a firm full of independent contractors that either run their own practice or are part of a separate team that runs their own practice, you have the autonomy to build your clientele, but you're not on an island. And so I come into this company feeling like, man, we really are a team. Even if the person to the right of me has their own practice and have their own clients that they work with or their area of focus, that person I know I can go to for anything. And so it's a culture of teaming. It's a culture of support, while giving you the flexibility to grow in the way that you want your own practice to grow. That's number one. Number two, if I put on my hat where, you know, part of my job is recruiting and bringing new people into this industry, is the fact that I can say with confidence that you're coming into building your own practice within our group to build your practice the way that you want it to. Let me take a step back. Your practice can be built on the clients that you want to serve, and we help you get there. If you have a goal onto how big you want your practice to be, we can help you get there. If you have no idea what you want to do exactly, and you're starting from scratch, we're going to help you brainstorm, and we're going to help you find that goal, realize that goal, and help you get there. While you have the autonomy to, again, run your practice the way you want to, but you'll never be alone. And I think that's where some people who make it into this industry may get lost. You know, you get your license, they tell you, hey, you can run on your own, but then you don't want to feel alone. And here, you won't feel alone.
Gina, I appreciate you sharing your story and investing some time with me in this conversation. If you know, and our goal in these conversations is just that, to not only have a conversation, but to start more, right? And so, Gina, if people wanted to follow up with you, if they wanted to find you or contact you a question, where could they do that?
LinkedIn is the best way to do it. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can find me there. Gina Coleman, MassMutual Great Lakes. You can also find me, I do have a Facebook page as well, Gina Coleman, Your Financial Guide. I do have my own fan page there. But if you just Google my name, you'll find me. I pride myself on being very active in the community, very accessible. And so people can find me and shoot me a message, and I'm very responsive. And I love having this conversation. And I love sharing my story because I do think that hopefully it's relatable to others. I tend to talk to a lot of high school, in a lot of high school programs for teenage girls. And one of the things that I usually say to them is, what question do you always get as it relates to where you are in your stage? Oh, what's going to be your major in college? right? You're supposed to know everything at that stage. Guess what? You don't need to know everything at that stage. I always tell people, hear my story and you'll find out there's no need to have it all set in stone, because your own talents and are transferable into anywhere you want it to go, depending on how much time you want to put into it. And so I love telling the story because I love inspiring other people to find their lane. And if they can't find their own lane, just create one. And so I love talking to people, and so I'm always going to be responsive.
Love that. I think that's a great lesson. And so I would encourage anyone watching or listening to absolutely take that advantage of that opportunity to connect with Gina. And then if you want to connect with us as a firm, you can find us in a variety of ways. So first of all, you can find us at our website, massmutual.com/careers is where you can learn more about our career and get in touch with our talent team to start a conversation. You can also find us on social media, of course, on LinkedIn and Facebook. And also check us out on YouTube, where you can a little bit more behind the scenes and see us in action and some video and some of the different events that we've had over the past couple of years. Gina, I appreciate you investing in conversation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chad, for having me.